Again, I am Nick Robbins, Executive Director of Returning Home. I want to take this time to kind of share a little bit about Returning Home and what we're doing in the Springdale area for Northwest Arkansas. Kind of in the beginning, I worked for 8 years in the area of reentry. Did for national organizations, local organizations, and it became very apparent to me that one organization wasn't going to solve all the problems. And one organization wasn't skilled in the ways it needs to be skilled to be able to do it. So, as I was thinking about, how do we solve all of these problems, or at least how do we get that conversation started, it became very clear it was going to be the community that had to be a part of the process. So, when we opened the Returning Home Center a year and a half ago, we knew partnerships is what was going to make a lasting change in these women's lives. So in our building, a number of organizations work, and they serve the clients. So as I was identifying needs in the community that we were lacking, I would go beg an organization to come on board, to leave their offices or leave their buildings and move into our building that's kind of falling apart and just embrace it, because that's where the clients were coming. We had folks coming. We averaged 50 new clients a month coming in from out of jail or prison saying, hey, I'm ready to change and I need some help. And so we've got organizations like Goodwill. We've got organizations like Phoenix Recovery that house 50 men in our building directly out of prison. We have clothing closets. We have food banks. We have 15 partner organizations that provide weekly services on site for the men and women in our community that are coming out of incarceration. So, the really awesome thing is it keeps everybody in their strengths. Somebody says, I am very passionate about Narcotics Anonymous. So I wouldn't say, hey, could you be my administrator? I would say, let's set up a group, let's put you in that place, let's let that organization and that service thrive within the center. And so it's been a blessing. Over the year and a half, we've learned a lot of what we didn't know, and that's kind of how that works, right? We're going to hit against the wall plenty of times, but it's a blessing to have the opportunity to do it. So a lot of people ask me, hey, that's all great. You're doing a lot of things for these men and women, but why are you doing it? I explained to them that being a Tom Cruise stunt double only pays so much. So, if you're running a nonprofit, you make a lot more money. I was wrong. I currently have a walk-in safe in our building, and it houses donated canned goods. Because there ain't no money. But really, what got me started is I grew up in Iowa, and I was arrested at the age of 17 for 2 armed robberies. I spent the next 7.5 years of my life incarcerated. And during that time, every day I woke up, I had 2 voices that were pouring into me. The one voice was of the staff, that were telling me I was of no value and I was not redeemable. And the other voice were the people that were getting out, messing up, coming back, and pouring into me for 7.5 years. Nick, you'll never make it. Why will I never make it? Because I didn't make it. Everything's against you when you get out. You're never going to make it. So with those being the predominant voices in facilities, it makes sense that people are depressed. People don't have a realistic sense of who's willing to invest in them when they get out, what services are available. I had an opportunity to go into a faith-based program that transferred me from the prison I was in. And while I was there was a bunch of volunteers. And this one specific couple, Simon and Corinne, Pella, Iowa, farming couple in their 70s. And I would watch them scoot 200 yards across that prison yard every week to come teach a class. And as they would, I'd watch them every night as they'd be coming. I'm like, keep going, you're doing great. And I didn't understand why they were walking towards me when everything inside of me wanted me to walk the other direction. I want to leave this place and you keep coming back. I don't understand. So I asked him, Kareem, why do you keep coming in? She said, Nick, we love you. I said, you were coming in before you ever met me. I have yet to have a chance to earn your love. Why are you really coming in? She said, Jesus Christ died on the cross before I was ever born because he loved me. He didn't wait to meet me. He made the sacrifice before I needed that sacrifice. And we came in before we ever met you because we already love you. And you're valued. You're redeemable. And it absolutely shattered my world. Coming from a kid that went to 4 high schools in 2 years, never completed anything, couldn't hold a job, had nothing going for me, got a prison GED. Somebody was saying you're of value and you matter, and there's something for you when you get out. So the life change began, and I was blessed to, 1 week after I get out of prison, 24 years old, I was not an adult. I was still that 12-year-old kid that started using drugs. And I'm going, what am I going to do? And then I get a phone call. And it's from this faith-based group that says, hey, we heard you got out. We got a teen facility, and we need somebody to come live with some hoodlums. I was like, tell me more about that. And they're like, well, you're going to live in bunk beds. You're going to eat food in the chow hall. And you're going to do a lot of chores because they get in trouble. I was like, I am really good at all of those things. I'm in. That's what it did. Then, after spending time with teenagers, I started to understand why I was so tough on my parents. And I started to find out that in the first 9 months of working there, I'd rather work with murderers and rapists than your children. Don't call me for the youth ministry trip. Did that once, never again. They were calling people's parents. He's assaulting people left and right, but they started it. They started it. So I've had the opportunity for the last 10 years to work in the field that I'm absolutely passionate about and that I love. For the last 10 years, I've raised my own support. And it's only possible because other people caught that vision and love it too. And that, to me, makes no sense. But I thank y'all and I love y'all for doing that. Because you see value in people. That you're willing to give up your time, your talents, and your resources to make places like Returning Home, Goodwill, all these organizations possible because of your generosity. You don't have to be there to understand that. And that, to me, is powerful. The people that would come into the prison that didn't have a record, it was mind-blowing to me. I was like, why in the heck are you here? But it meant the most to me because they didn't have to go through the muck and grind to know that you're a rebel. So I thank you all for coming and for being part of this because you see value in these men and women in our community. And I appreciate that. And you've given me the opportunity to invest in thousands of lives over the last 10 years. And my goal for the last 10 years was to invest in one life that would bring about enough change that they would stand on their own and then invest in the next 2,000. And I've seen that. I've experienced that. Just in a year and a half, we've opened up the center. We've got people that have been through the center, now working at the center, and impacting lives on a regular basis. Life change is real. It is powerful. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Well, thanks, Nick. You know, Nick left out one of the voices that he also heard during that time. Mine. But in order to hear more about that, you got to come back after lunch.
It's going to get real interesting.
So right now we're just going to transition to lunch. But before we do that, I just want to, just recognize Nick for pulling this together. I think that, again, I get the opportunity to look at, great things going on like this across the country. And I really do think that Nick is building something, a model that will be on a national scale in the next decade. So I just really want to recognize Nick's work, his passion, and his love for the people that he serves. So thank you so much.